Hey, Ralph, how you doing, man?
Hey man, hi Trevor, how you doing?
I'm
I'm
doing
doing awesome.
it's super good. First off, I'm gonna try to say your last name. It's Czogallik, Ralf
Yeah,
Czogallik.
yeah,
Awesome. And I know you're in the
yes,
Netherlands.
yeah.
Wait, and what's your website and Instagram so people can find you?
My Instagram is just plain Ralf Czogallik, as you spell it. I know it's kind of difficult, but you should check it out or find me on under Apple EPPEL Wedding Photography. You should find me over there and Instagram as well.
So, Ralph, with that, let's jump right into this first shot. You have this incredible building, this couple lit up. Tell us how you lit this and kind of what was going through your mind when you were setting it up.
Well, I had the opportunity to shoot a wedding in near Valencia. Actually, the rehearsal dinner was in that building underneath it. That's a big restaurant over there. Actually, we were walking. There's a bridge over it, near to it, and I said to Sergio, my second, I said, "Well, we need to do something with it." And I said, "Oh, I only need to do one thing, and just light up the couple."
You have it's almost like a spotlight on the couple. Did you use kind of like a MagGrid, or what did you use to create that spotlight on them?
Well, I used a sphere
Okay,
because I wanted them to be lit from top to bottom.
gotcha.
I only use the grid when I have more like a dramatic shadow fall.
Okay,
But in this case, normally I'd only use the sphere and the grid. In this case, I used the sphere to light them up.
gotcha. And then
Yeah.
you kind of darken things down, and it looks like from looking at their shadows coming off their body, it looks like it was your flash was to the camera left just a little bit, like close to the
Absolutely.
couple,
Yeah.
but just to the left of them. Is that correct?
Yeah. It
And
was held up by my assistant.
uh-huh.
He held it up on the 45 degree. I think that's the most of the degrees I
Yeah,
think I use when I'm shooting images like this.
yeah,
45 degrees, and
yeah,
it should be good because it's always sort of like how the sun falls down, and it looks more natural when you put it on that angle.
yeah.
And that's what I did. He just hold it up on one of my tripods, and I just cloned him out, the poor bastard. Poor guy.
No, that was actually going to be my next question because we get that a lot where people are wondering, was the person cloned out of the shot? And it looks like, yeah, he had to be so close. I'm sure you probably just saw kind of his head and the tip of the light stand coming up from the image. So probably wasn't a very difficult clone, but I love how you got rid of him as well. We love
Yeah,
you,
it's
brother.
a couple
But
seconds.
no, that's awesome. Well, it's a beautiful image, and I love the, like I said, the bold colors, which really make up kind of your style, which I love. Let's jump on to the second image. Speaking of bold colors, right? You got this image where this couple, it's a silhouette photograph. Tell us
Yeah.
about this photo.
Well, I think that one of the most problematic things you can have when you're shooting silhouettes is that you have to be sure that the silhouette is telling you something. Or the second problem is that you're not having that beautiful circular thing
Uh huh.
for the silhouettes. Um, I've always been taught by some great minds in wedding photography, also at the foundation workshops, and Lanny and Erica Mann, the Christmas, for instance, they were
Yeah.
really, I was really inspired by them. And they said, well, if you have a couple shooting, you must make sure that everything's right because you have the opportunity
Yeah.
just to pose them right and to make sure the gestures are right and everything's right. So that's the main thing I'm trying to do. And I love this image so much because it's almost a perfect circle. And funny thing is that it was on top. It was in the attic of a big barn. There was a party going on underneath it,
Wow.
or the dinner was going on. But my assistant was on her back, just lighting it up from somewhere over here just to
Uh-huh.
make the perfect circle. And so the Mag Beam, I used this product for the first time just to create the blue on the ceiling because it was really wide. And it was really far away to light it up.
Uh-huh.
And I always want to have some crazy colors in the pictures because I think that's what people need.
Yeah.
I know nowadays black and white is the thing for reportage and that kind of stuff. But if you do a post shot, you could use more color, I think.
A couple things, Ralph, that really stand out to me in this image. One, I love the fact that you put blue up there because you got this great contrast of warmth and coolness, this gold and blue, which is so important because, a lot of times when we think of contrast, we just think of the contrast between light and dark. But there's also conceptual contrast, there's color contrast, there's, the temperature contrast. There's so many types. There's young and old, contrast, like a conceptual. So, there's so many different types of contrast. And contrast is really what helps photographs really pop. And the contrast between that warmth and that coolness, it really adds so much to this image. If that whole thing was just all warm, it would still be a great photo. But I think what makes this excellent is that difference of color. When you do a silhouette, make sure there's some kind of action or storytelling or something, because how many photographers, when they do a silhouette, they take the couples, they put them nice and close together, and all you see is just their nose and their face. I do this as well, and I'm terrible. I need to get better at it. And then you got this one big body all together, right? And here you get this separation, you get this storytelling. It's phenomenal. I love it.
Well, yeah, that's actually one of the things I want to incorporate in images like this, because you can't see their facial expressions or nothing, and that's why you don't know what's going on and who are they or what are they telling or what are they doing up there. And that's always the main thing I try to incorporate in images like this. Is just there has to be some connection, and without the connection, there's no. I don't think there's no story. Exactly. Yeah.
I love it. Well, great job. Love the image.
Thank you.
So this third image, Ralf, we're talking about this image of the bride crowd surfing. Tell us about this shot. How'd you like this?
The bride and groom are really, really crazy. And I love those people, really, because they don't tell you things. They just do it. And first of all, the groom jumped, and I had amazing 5 light setup in this one.
Wow.
So it was really difficult. I used yellow, I used purple, I used just plain flashlight. I used some blue, but later on I just took it out with the white balance gradient because I didn't like it in this shot. And I just try to make sure that the bride was lit up well. And, I couldn't do this without also the MagMod system, because I had 2 grids. I set bare flashes, but actually they were gridded because I want to make sure that the focus was on the bride and not the rest of the crowd. And I think that's why this image has so much power, because the bride pops out. That's what I want to have.
No, for sure. She's definitely lit. You can tell, especially that flash on the left-hand side. And I love how the expression. I think the expression, the lighting, and the colors. The colors that are all over the room are phenomenal. And now, were you up on the stage as well? Is that how you got the higher angle?
Yeah, I was on the stage with a 1635. I always shoot those things on 16 millimeters because it's sort of like, that it's going to be sharp somewhere, and stuff like this. It's really hard to focus and do compositions and that kind of stuff all at once, and just try to make sure your flashes are in the best way. And so it's really hard to do this.
Awesome. Beautiful shot. So, Ralf, let's jump into this other one. This one looks like you actually are outside shooting into a restaurant of some kind, maybe, or a bar or something. Is that what's going on here?
Actually, I'm inside and they are outside.
Ah, okay.
So that's what makes it funny, because it was in The Hague in the Netherlands. We just had an engagement session, and they're really into the jeans things and everything, but they want to have something spectacular also. And we didn't expect the sunset. And that's really crazy, because in the Netherlands, we have sucky sunsets, really. We don't have Arizona sunsets.
We'll have to bring you to Arizona.
The next best thing I'm going to be next year is in Los Angeles, so maybe we'll catch a sunset there. But
absolutely, we'll holler when you're out here. We'd love to bring you to Arizona. It'd be fun to show you a good sunset.
Oh yeah, I'll be happy to. We've been missing those sunsets here in the Netherlands, for real. But the sunset was amazing because everything turned orange, as you can see. It's not a filter or nothing, and you see those bright orange lines in it. They're the interior of the restaurant.
Oh.
So it's not a double exposure or nothing. It's just one shot, and I just put them outside. And the only thing I used was a flash with a grid. Yeah. And because I have so much orange, so much yellow of the sunset, and also the bright red neon in the restaurant, I just want to just make sure that they popped out on the image. So, and also their skin colors are, it was almost like it's straight out of camera, like you see it here. So I didn't have to do a lot to it. But there was, when I shot this one, there was a Facebook group actually, and people called me, say, how the F did you shoot this? Because we can't figure it out. And I like those things, and just use a simple flash, a grid, and a gel, and you're good. You don't have to have 5 or 6 or like a dozen flashes just to make it interesting. It just, use what's there. And I think this is an example of stuff that was there at the moment. Just the only thing is that you have to be really, really quick because sunsets are like 5-6 minutes and then they're gone.
They're gone, especially when you get these really popping orange colors. It typically only happens for a very, very short time, just a couple minutes. And what's cool about this photo is if you didn't use a flash on them, then the couple would have been dark because the sun is setting behind them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They will be pitch black, and then you would have a really big problem because you have to dodge and burn your.
I don't even know if it would have been rescuable.
It's great, and because it's such a simple, you can do it alone. I shot this alone, and you just have one tripod, one flash on it, and you have a sphere and a grid with you, and a trigger, and that's it. I always use a standard setup like 132 on the flash because I know, and when the sun is really harsh, I use maybe 116 or something. And then I know this just like standard settings, and that's what I use.
In this last photograph I want to share, you have this couple that it looks like you've incorporated all kinds of surroundings and cool lighting, and you got all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Tell us about this shot here.
Well, this was so funny because I'm going to send you an email with how the room actually looked, and you can put this in, and you'll be amazed because this is in Italy, in sort of like a library, and it was really dull. I had a workshop that time, and it was fantastic. We had 10 people. They were looking at me just like, okay, what is he going to do now? And when we created this one, and actually the yellow things you see are obviously lighting. So lights, they were there.
Okay.
And it was really, really funny because I'm going to email the
We'll put up the behind the scenes so everyone can see it.
I used 3 flashes for this.
Okay.
First of all, I used, of course, the backlighting flash. I used a flash with half CDO, or I think maybe 1 CDO, full CDO.
Okay.
To create more orange, create more yellow, and I used the Mag beam with the blue gel and something. I don't know. I just picked one. And
I'm trying to remember what we call that pattern, but it's kind of like, it looks like a bunch of like wiggly worm type things or something. I know what you're talking about.
And this is also the thing where you can see that blue and yellow work perfectly together. They're like in harmony, and that's why the white, the background of the flash and the silhouette pops out like this. And this was really, really crazy because it was the workshop I did, and people want to see stuff like this. I think, let's take it to the next level, and
that's awesome. So the light behind the couple, or is the groom or the guy there? Is he holding that?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's holding it
Yeah.
on his hip, and then you have the mag beam with the pattern with the blue gel. Did you say there was a third flash, or is it just the two flashes?
There was a third flash just to create more orange, and
Oh, okay.
it was just like near me, and I didn't want to light up the couple too bad too much because then it wouldn't be a silhouette. I didn't want to make a half silhouette because they
Gotcha.
were not wearing wedding clothes at the moment. They were just they were just
Gotcha.
wearing normal clothes,
Love it.
and yeah. So and that's why I just wanted to bring those three separate lights together and see what it does in an environment like where normally you say, okay, what am I going to do with this room now?
Yeah.
You see a lot of those examples also in the MagMod community, the BTS, the before behind the scenes, and what you actually did with it.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, no, wow, you can create magic with a couple of flashes. Can you imagine?
Ralph,
Oh,
these images are amazing. I think going along with what you were saying, I think when you know how to use light and color, and you know how to actually use your camera to be able to darken things down or lighten things up, however you want to do it, I think really the only thing that keeps you from accomplishing anything is just your imagination. Can you create it here first? And if you can create it here first, and you know how to use your tools, then you're going to know how to create it with the tools as well. In other words, you can take what you see here and put it into a picture. And I think that's what's fantastic about this. I mean, being able to see this and say, okay, now I want to create this pattern on the wall and add some color here and make these two colors contrast, and it's phenomenal. So your work is fantastic. Ralph, you hinted at a workshop. Do you still do any workshops, or do you have anything lined up in the future?
yeah, I have a workshop now planned in Greece this October, but it's fully booked, so no seats left for that. But I think one that's really, really cool and going to help my buddy Tishon Jackson with that is next February, like 2020, from 2 to 5 February, I'll be in Los Angeles with a couple of other great photographers like Rocio Vega. And you should check it out. It's the Resolve workshop. You should check it out. It's in LA, and it's going to be really, really awesome. And I will teach some techniques I showed you today also there. And I think it's really going to help people how to simplify the images by using 1 or 2 flashes, or maybe just helping them just to make it pop more.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, I look forward to I'll check that out. February 2nd through the 5th, you said?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll be announcing some more workshops later on this year, also off camera flash.
Yeah.
But it's to be in the Netherlands. But maybe I don't know what's in store for me this year or next year. I don't know.
Hey,
but
I think there's a lot in store for you, Ralph. You're an amazing dude. You're an amazing photographer. I look forward to continually following your work and seeing it. And make sure I want to invite everyone to go check out your website. We'll pop it up on the screen here so everybody can see it. Go check out his website. Go check out his Instagram. Follow him there. I'm sure if you have any workshops or places where you'll be speaking, you'll probably put it there so everybody can see it. But definitely go check him out. Ralph, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for taking this. I know it's nearly 11 o'clock at night, 11:30, something like that there, or
it's
10.
It's
10:30.
10:30. It's 10:30. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, tell your wife and kids that we sure appreciate you being able to do this at night here. And again, I just want to encourage everyone to go check out more of your work. You're phenomenal. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me, and keep on doing the great things you're doing, and being in touch with the community. I think the photography world really needs people like you. And also thanks to MagMod, and also for all the cool things they make. And thank you for having me.
Oh, man, you're too nice. I super appreciate that. Thank you so much.